Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of This Is Not a Drill. Right now, we're doing readings from On Tyranny by Timothy Snyder, 20 Lessons from the 20th Century. Because, as he says in his preface, our founding fathers tried to protect us from the threats they knew, the tyranny that overcame ancient democracy. Today, our political order faces new threats, not unlike the totalitarianism of the 20th century. We are no wiser than the Europeans who saw themselves yield to fascism, Nazism, or communism. Our one advantage is that we might learn from their experience. Today we're reading lesson 14, Establish a Private Life. Establish a private life. Nastier rulers will use what they know about you to push you around. Scrub your computer of malwares on a regular basis. Remember that email is skywriting. Consider using alternative forms of the internet or simply using it less. Have personal exchanges in person. For the same reason, resolve any legal trouble. Tyrants seek the hook on which to hang you. Try not to have hooks. What the great political thinker Hannah Arendt meant by totalitarianism was not an all-powerful state, but the erasure of differences between private and public life. We are free only insofar as we exercise control over what people know about us and in what circumstances they come to know it. During the campaign of 2016, we took a step toward totalitarianism without even noticing by accepting as normal the violation of electronic privacy. Whether it is done by American or Russian intelligence agencies, or for that matter by any institution, the theft, discussion, and publication of personal communications destroys a basic foundation of our rights. If we have no control over who reads what and when, we have no ability to act in the present or plan for the future. Whoever can pierce your privacy can humiliate you and disrupt your relationships at will. No one, except perhaps a tyrant, has a private life that can survive public exposure by hostile directive. The timed email bombs of the 2016 presidential campaign were also a powerful form of disinformation. Words written in one situation make sense only in that context. Words written in one situation only make sense in that context. The very act of removing them from the historical movement and dropping them in another is an act of falsification. What is worse, when media followed the email bombs as if they were news, they betrayed their own mission. Few journalists make an effort to explain why people said or wrote things they did at the time. Meanwhile, in transmitting the privacy violations as news, the media allowed themselves to be distracted from the actual events of the day. Rather than reporting the violation of basic rights, our media generally preferred to mindlessly indulge in inherently salacious interests that we have in other people's affairs. Rather than reporting the violation of basic rights, our media generally preferred to mindlessly indulge the inherently malicious interest we have in other people's affairs. Our appetite for the secret, thought Arendt, is dangerously political. Totalitarianism removes the difference between private and public, not just to make individuals unfree, but also to draw the whole society away from normal politics and towards conspiracy theories. Rather than defining facts or gathering interpretations, we are seduced by the notion of hidden realities and dark conspiracies that explain everything. As we learn from these email bombs, the mechanism works even when what is revealed is of no interest. The revelation of what we I'm sorry, the revelation of what was once confidential becomes the story itself. The revelation of what was once confidential becomes the story itself. It is striking that the news media are much worse at this than, say, fashion or sports reporters. Fashion reporters know that models are taking off their clothes in the changing rooms, and sports reporters know that athletes shower in the locker room. But neither allow private matters to supplant the public story they are supposed to be covering. When we take an active interest in matters of doubtful relevance at moments that are chosen by tyrants and spooks, we participate in the demolition of our own political order. When we take an active interest in matters of doubtful relevance at moments that are chosen by tyrants or spooks, we participate in the demolition of our own political order. To be sure, we might feel that we are doing nothing more than going along with everyone else. This is true. And it is what Arden described as the de-evolution of society into a mob. The de-evolution of society into a mob. We can try to solve this problem individually by securing our own computers. We can also try to solve it collectively by supporting, for example, organizations that are concerned with human rights. We can try to solve it collectively by supporting, for example, organizations that are concerned with human rights. Thank you. This has been another reading from On Tyranny by Timothy Snyder. Thank you for watching. We'll be back soon. This is Not a Drill with Carter Brooks. Until later.